Attendance, yeah. So, I mean, he came with a huge resume. And in all honesty, I wasn't worried at all about whether they picked someone with good legal skills, probably better than mine. I had no concern about that. What worried me is that they would bring some hard ass on who didn't know the culture that I had built in the general counsel's office, where it really was a family. It might have gone dysfunctional at times, but it was a family. Sandy, you would agree with me.
Yeah, dysfunctional.
You always take a piece of AFG with you, I think, when you leave the job. It doesn't go away. And it's a very eclectic mix. I pick people for reasons that even I couldn't explain. I mean, if I didn't really like them, I'd go, "So how'd you like law school?" And they go, "Oh, I really liked it." Out. Or I'd say, "What kind of music do you like?" "Oh, I like Barry Manilow." Bye. Anyway, the first time, I was worried about the intangible things. The first time I met David, he came bouncing into my office with this big smile like a puppy. I'm going, I was supposed to meet the new guy. What was this? He sat down, he shook my hand, sat down. He was so excited. He goes, "I just saw the cover of the Allman Brothers at the Fillmore East on that guy's office across from you." Well, I had put it up on Thompson's office just to annoy him. Thompson hates the Allman Brothers. He's like a son to me, what can I tell you? Anyway, he comes bouncing in and goes, "I love the Allman Brothers. I listen to live at the Fillmore East every day I drive to work." So, I mean, I just took his hand. It was like meeting the Pope. I took his hand. Inside I was saying, "Thank you, Lord." But I just, was like so thankful. And, in this job, like he wrote me once and said, "There's only 2 people that know what this job is about," exclamation points. I don't know how many. You bring all the intangibles. You're kind. You're gentle. You've got a sense of humor. You've got a great sense of music, my man. And I know you were put up to this.
Thank you.
I'll have to go back on Jay David, because I left it like, oh, he's the nicest guy in the world. Well, yes, he's one of the nicest people on the planet. But when you violate his trust, you've got to start looking for your body parts. Don't mistake, this is advice to my former people, don't mistake kindness for weakness, okay, guys? So anyway, where's Joe Henderson? Joe. He tried to get something that would blend in with the wall. What can you say about Joe Henderson? What can you say about Joe Henderson? I'm going to say it one more time.
You can't say very much.
Well, what can you say about Joe Henderson that he hasn't already said about himself? No, truly, Joe is a legend. Just ask him. You are, Joe. You're a legend in your own mind.
I got a picture of the hanging mark in my office. I'm going to show people.
Do I have a T-shirt on, please?
Yeah.
Never mind. Everybody knows that Joe has a sense of humor that is totally inappropriate. Everyone in the building knows this.
It's not felonious.
It is not a exaggeration. What they don't know about Joe is that he is a killer litigator. I mean, in my time here, I can't, and this is the truth, I can't think of any case that he lost or didn't settle for more money than we were entitled to. He's that good, and I know he promoted this, even though he's retiring in a few months, and now the only thing available is the kitchenette. Don't get upset.
It's fine.
I'm saying that's where you spend most of your time making coffee.
It's fine.
He likes those gourmet coffees, he has like all these instruments, and they're good. I have one. So anyway, thank you, Joe. first one is late National President John Sturman. Those of you who are lucky enough to work with John know that he was a giant. For me personally, now it took him about 2 years to get used to my sense of humor. Brian would, I'd say something, he would go, and Brian would kick me under the table, just to keep me, and he had to do that a lot at a lot of meetings, to keep me from being way over the line. But with John, he finally got used to my sense of humor, and I started finally thinking he was a pretty great president. So whatever that was, he was someone who did transcendental meditation. He ran 10 miles every day. This is in his 50s. He was continuously reinventing himself, improving himself, he worked on himself as a leader. And he was huge. The Clinton administration tried to ignore us and all unions when they started reinventing government. There were all these experts from management, federal management. And I was like, this is going to be like putting infinite monkeys for an infinite amount of time trying to get Shakespeare. I mean, you're going to the people that are the problem to fix the problem. So anyway, they didn't get it. He wrote an editorial. He wrote it himself called, "There'll be no reinventing without unions." And bam, the next day we were getting called by the highest ups in the administration. What can we do? We didn't know. What can we do? Let me just say that his relationship with President Clinton was such that when the Oklahoma City bombing occurred, later that day, President Clinton invited John onto Air Force One and they went together to Oklahoma City. His relationship with Vice President Gore was even closer. Vice President Gore went to visit him in the hospital when John was very ill. He had to get to Fairfax Hospital by helicopter. They had to sweep the floor that he was on, for security. And from what I heard, all the people on the floor were like, "Who's he visiting? Who's he going to visit?" Because they were all on first name. Well, that's John. Well, Vice President Gore comes out and goes into his room, closes the door, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is really somebody." And he was. Vice President Gore also spoke at his celebration of life ceremony and really brought the house down. And the other thing I need to say about John, in addition to him being like my guru, my teacher, my mentor, my